Hi there guys, I'm Danny and welcome to this episode of All Monsters Go to Space. Today I'm bringing you a video on a Chinese legendary figure, Sun Wukong, also known as the Monkey King in English, Sun Goku in Japan, Tang Ngo Kong in Vietnam, Sun Ngo Kong in Thailand. In Minnan, he was Sun Ngo Kang, Sun Gokong in Malay and Indonesia. In Java, he's Sun Gokong, Sun Wukong in Cantonese, and Sun Wukong in Korea. He was a trickster god with quite an extensive list of abilities. He could see through any form of disguise, he could resurrect himself, but some versions say that it's unlimited and in others it's up to 72 times, one for each of his transformations. He could break any lock, had immense strength, endless stamina, he could fly, had energy manipulation, and immunity to water and fire. He also couldn't be hurt by knives, axes or lightning. He could also control winds on clouds, move water, create clones of himself using his hairs, and freeze anything, create protective circles, and could transform himself and other things into various objects, animals and weapons. He features heavily in the novel Journey to the West from the 16th century, but can also be found in various other stories. So we'll start off with Sun Wukong's origin. Over eons of time, a stone egg formed on the very top of the mountain of flowers and fruit, and once the egg had become the size of an average ball, a wind blew across the stone and it transformed into a stone monkey, and he was also able to walk already from the moment he was born. His eyes were two beams of light that, as he bowed to the four quarters, shone into the Jade Palace. The Jade Emperor ordered his servants to seek out the source, but when they reported back to the Emperor that it was just a stone monkey and his eyes were already beginning to grow dimmer, the Emperor thought that he was of no importance and so carried on. Young Sun Wukong went down the mountain a little way and came upon a group of monkeys. He joined their group where they played and he grew up a little. Now each evening they would bathe in the stream, but Sun Wukong was very curious as to where the source was coming from, so they all went looking for it and they climbed up a waterfall, and it was agreed amongst them that whoever went through the waterfall and found the source would become the king of the group. Sun Wukong agreed to this and went on ahead. As he went through, he found an iron bridge which he crossed and found a cave. He then declares it their home and persuades the other monkeys to join him, and so he became their king. During this point, he wished to acquire more knowledge and supernatural abilities, so he sought out a Taoist monk, or in some versions, the Daoist sage Father Subodhi. It was with this tutor that he learned how to ride the clouds, learned all the 72 transformations, and studied the words of illumination. Once he had finished his studies, he returned back to his group but found them being threatened. So, to save his family and friends, he went in search of weapons and came across the dragon of the eastern seas, Wukong. Sun Wukong, being the cheeky monkey he is, he took the golden banded staff, the Real Jingle Band, and this staff could expand to the size of the universe and was actually once used by the dragon to flatten the Milky Way, but it could also shrink to the size of a sewing needle, and Sun Wukong would keep it behind his ear. But it also weighed 7,960 kilograms, showing just how strong Sun Wukong is, as he could lift the staff with absolute ease. So the Monkey King then went on to defeat the 4 dragons of the seas and took their treasures: a phoenix feather cap, a mail shirt, and cloud walking boots. He finally returned home, rescued his group, and showed them his new weapons and abilities. But from all this, he got the attention of other powerful beings, and they wished to become his allies. So he forms a new group, with the snub-nosed monkey spirit king, the lion spirit king, the macaque spirit king, and the bull, and the single-horned and the Saurian demon king. And then he ends up kind of going after the lords of hell. Now, he didn't like the fact that they were coming to collect his soul, so instead of the usual reincarnation, Sun Wukong wipes his name from the Book of Life and Death, along with the names of all the monkeys that he's ever known. So by now, he had definitely put himself on the Jade Emperor's radar. The kings of hell and the dragon kings reported Sun Wukong to the Emperor, so the Emperor had to come up with a plan. He thought that if he gave Sun Wukong a title, he might calm down. The Monkey King was invited to heaven and given the title of Protector of Horses. Now Sun Wukong thought he was going there to be giving an honourable title, not the lowest of the low. He was angered and kind of rebelled. He declared himself to be the great sage or heaven's equal, and he released all of their horses. So all of heaven had to accept his title, but the emperor then tried to palm him off again with the title of Guardian of the Heavenly Peach Guardian. He was still not invited to the banquet though, and this really angered him. He steals Shi Wangmu's peaches of immortality and eats them. Then he took Lao Zi's pills of longevity and then drank the Jade Emperor's royal wine. And he then left to prepare his rebellion back at home. When this battle finally came, Sun Wukong defeated the whole army of heaven's celestial warriors, of which there was 100 of them, on his own. Then he defeated all of the 28 constellations, the 4 heavenly kings, and the protection deity Nezha. But he was found to be an equal match to the heavens general Erlang Shen. After their defeats, everyone appealed to different beings from Taoism and Buddhism, and through their collective effort combined with other deities and the Bodhisattva of Mercy Guan Yin, they were able to defeat Sun Wukong, or at least were able to capture him. They tried to execute him, but they couldn't. No matter what they did or used, he could not be killed. So they allowed Lao Shi to lock the Monkey King in the 8-way trigram crucible, meaning he would be distilled into an elixir, probably in the hope of retrieving the power of the pills of longevity. But this didn't work either. He had hidden himself in a corner for 49 days, where the fire couldn't reach him. But because of this imprisonment, he gained the ability to be able to see through any disguise and to recognize evil, but his eyes were weak against smoke. After he escaped, he destroyed the crucible. Everyone then threw themselves at the mercy of the Buddha. They asked for his help and he agreed. Buddha travelled up from the west and gave the Monkey King a challenge. He bet Sun Wukong that he couldn't escape from his palm. In his confidence in himself, he agreed and leapt to the very distant 5 pillars, which he believed to be the end of the world. To prove he had reached the edge of heaven, he basically wrote the great sage had been here. In some tales, it says that he also marked his scent by urinating on the pillar. Then he leapt back and landed onto the outstretched palm of the Buddha, who laughed and revealed that Sun Wukong had lost the bet. He turned and saw that the pillars were actually the Buddha's fingers. He tried to escape, but Buddha transformed his hand into a mountain and imprisoned the Monkey King under it for 500 years, using a talisman inscribed with the Om Mani Padme Hum in gold letters. After his sentence had ended, he wished to atone for his actions. By this point, Buddha had gone missing, and the monk Tang Sansheng, who had been recruited by Bodhisattva Guan Yin, was on his way west to retrieve him. Upon hearing all of this, Sun Wukong gives his service, with his reward being his freedom. But don't think he was allowed to walk around freely. Oh no. He had to wear a circlet that the monk could tighten the band if Sun Wukong disobeyed. As they travelled, they picked up other beings who were wanting to atone for their own crimes. There was Shang Wujing, or Sandy, the water buffalo, and Su Beiji, or Pigsy, and as you can guess by his name, he was a pig. On this journey, Tang Sansheng was constantly under threat, and so Sun Wukong took it upon himself to be the monk's bodyguard. Along the way, he also learned the teaching of Buddhism and all about the virtues. They all finally arrived and retrieved Buddha, and Sun Wukong was given a Buddhahood, getting the title of the victorious fighting Buddha. Now this legendary creature has featured in quite a few pieces of popular culture, from TV shows to video games. One that I very fondly remember is a TV series from 1978 called Monkey. I would not go as far as to say that it was good, but I definitely fondly remember it. And one I think most people will know is Son Goku in Dragon Ball. This character was actually meant to be either a descendant of Sun Wukong or just inspired by Sun Wukong. Then he features in some video games, whether as a character or as inspiration for a character. There is a character in RWBY called Sun Wukong, and in Capcom's Marvel vs. Capcom 2 New Age of Heroes, there is a character called Sun Sun, who is the granddaughter of the character of the same name in 1984 game Sun Sun, who was actually meant to be Sun Wukong. There were characters called or based on Sun Wukong in League of Legends, Dota 2, Warframe, Smite, and Koei's Warriors Orochi. He also appeared in the light novel Campion, and one of my favourite references is the Monkey King from the Forbidden Kingdom. I love this film with Jackie Chan and Jet Li, and the Monkey King in that is just hilarious. He's so cheeky. There was a Chinese dark matter particle explorer that was called Wukong, and the Monkey King even has his own festival. It's on the 16th day of the 8th month in the lunar calendar, which would be approximately the beginning of September. and it falls the day after the Mid-Autumn Festival. Sun Wukong has been one of the longest enduring characters from Chinese literature, and I'll say he is one of my favourite characters from Chinese folklore. Some say his origin is from the Chu Kingdom, so about 700 to 223 BCE, from the legend of the White Monkey, and some scholars have also debated that the Hindu deity Hanuman, another monkey deity, is a direct inspiration for Sun Wukong, and it looks likely as Hanuman does predate this legendary figure. Well, that's it for this video about the naughty monkey of Chinese legend. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video, in the comment section and on Twitter. Bye!